what's great about that story is that you're not going to remember any of those facts because they're just facts. They're not a story. So that's why I love the fact that we're here telling stories with emotion, stories with feeling. And next, stories with music. So to introduce our next storyteller to you folks, he has been, you see him around Japantown a lot. He's a fantastic musician. He's a good friend. He's also an educator. And folks, I really, personally, I feel like he is one of the faces of what I would call like an Asian American music, of Asian American music. There's been a movement of like Asian American musicians really trying to push the envelope of what Asian American music can be. And this gentleman is one of the people on the forefront. So let's put our hands together for Francis Wong and a special guest, Scott Oshiro, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. There we go. There we go. We got it. So thank you so much for putting this together and for coming on out. And what? Can I see that first slide? Okay. So that's me. So I was 22 there, and that was the 1531 Sutter campaign that we did up on. And so I've never seen this picture, and when KOHO posted this last week, I said, wow, I've never seen this, because actually I have no images in my own archive of me as an activist. Probably because I was trying to make sure my parents never saw something like that. So, but it was, I was 22. I think it was the first time I've ever done anything like stay overnight in a building to protect it from being evicted. And actually we have Mickey to thank for, because he kind of recruited me to come out. So, and it was also great to hear Joyce, because Joyce was a very strong influence on me. When I was 21, she kind of introduced me to Kane and to politics and all that. So, and so one of the things as a musician, we kind of tried to follow the teaching of Maya Angelou. Yes. Some of you, if you haven't heard of her, please check her out. Writings, but she has a saying of like, people may not remember what you said, but they'll remember how you felt after you were in their presence. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little improv here to give a sense of that. And what we're going to do is we're going to start a chant, and Scott, this is the improv part, is going to improvise with that. Okay, so it's, we won't move. 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 Okay, now we're gonna get faster. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. Now faster. Move. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. Okay, let's see what we can do. Oh, that's good. Okay, so the end part is always the unity clap. So How fast? Okay, all right. So I would have made you all stand up, but it's Saturday afternoon, so. But that gives you a feeling, so that as artists we have that job, okay? So what we're gonna do is in honor of, there's a song called The Moon Over the Ruined Castle, and it's by this composer named Rentaro Taki, who wrote this piece in 1901, and it was in a period of time where Japan and composers were trying to reflect on how do we preserve tradition, but get into the modern age. So this song kind of has that introduction of Japanese aesthetic into Western song form. And I first heard this song from this African-American great composer, Thelonious Monk. And so we're going to play a little version of that. Next slide, please. Okay. We're going back in time here. So,
this is kind of my way of talking about my personal connection to Japantown. Because, so, this is, I think this is 1971. And this is me in junior high. But this gentleman here is a guy named Tomio John Yoshi. And he was a native of Japantown. And when my parents came to this country, that's my mom over there, we moved into a place on Webster Street.
We moved to this place on Webster Street, and my parents were Catholics, and so we attended church, and I was baptized at St. Dominic's down the street, which is at Steiner and Bush, right? And my parents made friends with Uncle John, and which was unusual because my folks fought in the war against Japan. And so this kind of human connection, they found out that actually Uncle John had served in the military intelligence service, which was the battlefield translators in World War II. Although we just knew him as Uncle John, and I didn't actually learn that he was a member of the MIS until I worked at Ninja with Roz. Roz, you're here, right? Yeah. And so, actually, I only confirmed it because Uncle John gave my father a Japanese-English dictionary, and I went to the title page, and it had stamped there his name and his serial number, which by then I learned, I did a search on his serial number, and he was listed in one of the MIS databases. And so I learned that he had served in Japan in the MIS. But as we were growing up, he used to bring Napoleons from Marie Antoinette, which is a bakery, which now is Anderson's. And so, and my last memory, last time I saw Uncle John, he came out to hear me play in Peace Plaza. And he had gotten blind by then, but he actually made his own vision as he was listening to the music. So we're gonna play a little bit for him.
We're going to do something.
Can I see the next slide? This is Sonia Massey, who was killed by the police recently. And so back, we're going to play a little piece called Say Her Name. Okay.
Francis, welcome everyone. Thank you so much, Francis. Thank you so much.
Can I take just 1 minute? Scott, maybe we should say a little something about yourself.
Hey, just real quick, my name is Scott. I lived in the Bay Area, moved here about 6 years ago for graduate school, and I think Japantown is kind of like my secondary home, because this is the first place I actually came to visit when I came to the city. And then actually the first two people I met were Francis and Dr. Wesley Linden, and we also have a band together. And I'm half Black and half Okinawan, and they've been teaching me a lot about my Okinawan heritage, so yeah.
Thank you so much for that, guys. That was wonderful, beautiful. Our next storyteller, I'm very excited to bring her up to the stage. She sits on the board of the JCL, also on the board of the JCCCNC. She's a very dear friend of mine, and she's also one of the most fashionable people I know. Let's welcome to the stage Judy Hamaguchi, everybody. Come on up, Judy.
Thank you. I want to thank Susie for inviting me to speak today. When she asked me, I took a few days to say yes or no. I didn't know what I wanted to say, but I found my cheat. It's a copy of the Nikkei Heritage by NJAHS. It's a 2001 essay that I had written about Japan, going over Japan. So this is really my cheat sheet, so please forgive me if I look down and read it, because it has essentially everything I want to say about growing up in Japantown. So I am the daughter of a Nisei U.S. Army soldier, a mom who was in Tokyo. They fell in love during the occupation, and I was born in Honolulu at the Children's Hospital. Yes, still pink, by the way. So that's the beginning of my existence. I wrote this article called Japantown, the Way We Were. So this must have been the Barbara Streisand days or something that I wrote it, yeah. Okay, so I will begin in part of my forehead. In an old photo of me hanging onto the railing of an army ship coming to America, I have a head full of frizzy curls, and I'm smiling so hard that my cheeks squeeze my eyes like parentheses on either side of my nose. Mom, a hopeful new immigrant, Japan-born wife of a Nisei soldier she had met in occupied Japan, named her children after famous Americans. I was Judy, after Judy Garland, the Wizard of Oz, yeah. My brother was Calvin, and that's what Japanese people pronounced Calvin. He was named after Calvin Coolidge. It was 1952, my new home, Nihonjin Machi, San Francisco. Hard times, bologna sandwiches with American cheese, Vienna sausages, hot dogs cooked in shoyu, I know you still eat that. Being so young, I didn't know what poor was. I thought everyone had homes with no furniture. We lived in an old Victorian flat that had been subdivided. My parents' room used to be a dining room. I think my little room used to be either a closet or a pantry, I'm not sure. But it was a great neighborhood for a child to grow up in. Everywhere I went, I felt as if people were looking out for me. Mom, who soon became a single working woman, waitressed in the evenings at the Nyaka restaurant in Japan. Sometimes my brother would wake up in the middle of the night crying near the window my mom had left a kokeshi lamp, and she instructed me to turn on the lamp every time Chow Bean started crying. Again, she didn't see my signal, so we went out. I grabbed my little brother, and we went running out of the house in the middle of the night to get to her. And a nice black man, Jimbo, who owned Jimbo's Upstate Jazz Club, that was right next door to my door, caught us. The bawling 3-year-old and his sister, stepping out into the night. He scooped Chow Bean up into his arms and ferried him across the street with me clinging to his pant leg. Jimbo was a kind man. I'd like to think he stations himself outside the wall as a watchdog, just to make sure we got to our mom all right. Everything I wanted was right outside my door. Evergreen Fountain was next door with a 25-cent hamburger deluxe, orange freezes, black walnut ice cream. I bought comics for a dime at Yamasan's cigar and liquor store. I drank cherry cokes for a nickel at Koga's grocery and fountain. Had my hair cut at Mary's beauty shop. Got sour seeds at American Fish Market. Back then, a penny actually bought me something. Every 10 steps was a shop, a restaurant, a friend's house. My family didn't own a car until 1971 because we never needed one. The annual Obon Odori took place in front of my house, in what is now the Buchanan Mall. I'd watch people build a tower which held the taiko drums and string many colorful churchy lanterns around the whole block. By dusk, music filled the street and crowds gathered for the dancing. I loved the Obon. It was the one time of the year that I got to wear lipstick. I felt so beautiful in my kimono. After we danced, our reward was a brown bag containing a sandwich, a bag of chips, and a ticket for refreshments at Evergreen Fountain. Once a week, my family went to the subtitled Japanese movies at Kimon and at Sokoji Hall. I always had my bag of snacks, always. Senbei, candy bars, bubble gum, a drink. Sokoji had the more comfortable seats. They were pews, I suppose. Kimon had cold folding chairs, hard on the backside, and a scary bathroom with low ground level, concrete, damp, and cavernous. The echoing drip, drip, drip of a leaking pipe made it an especially horrifying place to go shishi if an Oake movie was on the bill. When redevelopment began in earnest and empty lots took over most of the neighborhood, a special world was being wiped out. My friends were moving away. Just a handful of original residents were able to remain in the area. Costs and restrictions forced the rest out. Yes, the area had been labeled a ghetto, but for me, it was like a pleasant village, populated by people I felt secure with. I was immersed in my culture, completely in my element, and surrounded by familiar faces. My big adventure as Nihonjin Machi disappeared was riding my flexi. Nobody knows what a flexi is. It's a sled with wheels. I would ride this flexi down the newly widened Geary Boulevard before it was open to traffic. I started from Octavia Street, down a speedy new slope all the way down to Fillmore. It was hard going back up though. I went under the bridge at Fillmore. It was one quick and thrilling ride. I visit Japantown now and then, actually more often than that. I eat, I shop. I look above Soko Harbor, and in my mind, I still see the flat where I grew up, and the fire escape that was my deck on sunny days. As a teenager, I'd haul my blankets and snacks, always snacks, and a radio out onto that fire escape and peer out over the neighborhood. Contentedly smelling the food cooking all around me and waving to friends. From that vantage point, the time came when sadness crept in. As I watched, one by one, every building was emptied and flattened. The neighborhood, always burbling with people sounds, now growled with bulldozers. It was all coming down, regardless of protests by the Black community and ill feelings of the Japanese community. Nihonjin Machi, with its close-knit residents and traditions, loyalties, and activities, peculiarly its own, was uprooted and scattered. Fair compensation and moving costs to property owners were ignored. I remember the day I saw for the first time the empty lot where my home once stood. I had a terrible, queasy feeling in my gut. I wondered if I'd gotten everything out of my home before the demolition, or whether some of my personal belongings had been crushed beneath the concrete and the dirt. I'm pretty sure there's something that remains of me under the brand new Circle Hardware. Maybe some bobby pins, an old elementary notebook, something is there. The Nihonjin Machi of my childhood was full of amazing drama, loaded with characters, stories, life. Now it's Japantown, J-Town, pleasant enough place to visit, eat, and shop. To me, it's no longer Nihonjin Machi, the Japanese people town, where I once felt a strong sense of belonging. Thanks. 20 years later here, after I reread that essay that I wrote, as a more mature person now, I had some different ideas because we're all now very much interested in what's happening to Japantown. And it occurred to me as I was reading my essay that these childhood memories aren't literally history. We remember what we want to remember and we forget what we want to forget. And I think that this whole collection of memories is what Japantown is. Nihonjin Machi was like very much a village. It was self-sustaining. And like I said, we didn't need a car because we didn't need to go anywhere. There were dentists, shoe repairs, TV shop, everything you wanted was right in Japantown. And I wanted to make sure that I talked about the diversity of this community because of these three crises that this community has gone through. And that was the 1906 earthquake, Pearl Harbor and the internment, and the redevelopment of Japantown. Those three crises were completely separate transitions for this community. So I also want to blame the city for creating this whole new Japantown, as we call it. It was purely racist. It was based on prejudice. They were notoriously putting people of colors into enclaves, undesirable locations. They did that in camp. And so anything that was not worth their time or effort, that's where they put delivered people. And I think that's something that we should all remember. It's not about Japantown. If you look at the Mission or Chinatown or any of these places where it's very deliberately created by the city and it continues to be based on racism and prejudice. Also interesting is that many of the businesses back in the days were opened by former geisha. Yes. And the waitresses who worked in these restaurants were war brides. So I grew up among the Issei, the geisha, the war brides, and all different diverse community members. So enjoy Japan.
Thank you so much, Judy. That was incredibly moving, and it's a nice reminder of what lays directly beneath our feet. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story. One more time for Judy. How about you? Okay, next up we have one of our poets. Sarah Matsui is a poet and a writer who grew up in Honolulu and lives out in Richmond. She's also a resident artist of the Friends of the San Francisco Public Library. So folks, let's give a warm round of applause for Sarah Matsui. Come on, Sarah.
Hi all, thank you so much for being here and for having me. I'm going to be sharing 2 poems tonight. To provide some context, my father has a large collection of objects spanning the mundane but further quantity 27 cans of spray starch to the more obviously freighted, like my grandpa's canteen from his time in the segregated Japanese American World War II 100th Battalion. Each object is valued almost as if it's beloved. So that's the situation that's helped seed accumulation, this first poem. Tying into the theme of tonight, I sometimes think there can be a messier side to resilience alongside what's more overtly beautiful. Accumulation. If I were a more poetic person, I might consider his staggering piles. 27 cans of spray starch, a beige sanyo fan, a gray sanyo fan, 300 pounds of rice, rat traps, gardening gloves, Miracle Grow, 2 copies of The Female Brain, black mesh duffel bag filled with heavy-duty waterproof flashlights for night diving, frame world map with Czechoslovakia, the Soviet Union, and only one Korea. Dead cockroaches sandwiched between layers of paper, like pressed flowers, even the hairs on their legs distinct. Bulk cans of Bush's Best kidney beans with yellow labels, photo albums with plastic sheets disintegrating into fluttered edges. His father's canteen from the 100th Battalion. As the negative space tumbled around the shape of silences too loud to bear. Broken home appliances hugging a possibility of repair. 300 pounds of rice contouring farm labor, tuition and classmates' unwashed dishes, all contorted in algorithm, deeper into an imminent threat, loss. Still, 27 cans of spray starch, scattered around an immigrant son, drafted into the uniforms of immigrant sons, not those, folded into perfect creases. Here is an ugly address, split tents passed down sideways. Here collects what is his, ours. I have no memory of ditches. A rat carcass, our inheritance, my brother says with yellow gloves. Unfocus your eyes, narrow your scope. There's rat excrement gummied on the kitchen counter that needs unsticking. Mildewed laundry to wash, RX bottles to fill, a path to clear for his walker, him. Eventually, trash bags ballooning with treasures that threaten and uphold. Lost comfort, 2 good-for-nothing children. Here, his vines push through the louvers. Here, his vines blur the boundary between outside and inside, and then and now, and guilt, yes, guilt, and his and mine and ours. Lily koi vines, you correct me, your favorite. This last poem is As He Ages, a little bit of a tone shift. As he ages, he hands me a tooth, his, for my dentist. I find myself his reluctant help. In dreams, losing teeth is losing control, it said. Here, losing teeth is losing teeth. I cannot help undo the loss, even if, despite, we are talking about teeth here. In my poem, a molar, smooth from wear, yellowed, some gray filling hanging on, yet. This isn't necessary. It needs glue, back and forth. How'd it fall out? Dove chocolate. You have diabetes. Here's a Ziploc, bag my tooth. He's joking, surely. No, a Ziploc, a tooth, his dentist's number, something else, smooth, yellowed. What else can I do here? We could be a lovely family if we tried. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Our final poet of the night, and final speaker of the night, is a poet and illustrator from Oakland, a former poet laureate of Oakland, and is currently studying at the Rhode Island School of Design. So please welcome Greer Nakadagawa Lee.
Is that the right height? There you go. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Jaden. Thank you, Lauren. And I want to say thank you to Joyce and to Vicky and to Judy. I mean, thank you for the people that you are and for the work that you've done and for sharing your story. It's just so amazing to hear that. Why am I here? So I've been writing poetry about being Asian American since I was like 12 years old, and at some point in that journey, Lauren Ito, who you've already heard from, picked me up and took me under her wing and showed me so many amazing things and people, and she also invited me to participate in this project called the Renshi Love Letter, which is a collaborative project of many different Japanese artists writing a love letter to our ancestors, not just of our past, but also of our present and our future. And so today I'm going to share with you guys a comic that I made as part of that project. So when Lauren called me up, I was actually coincidentally doing research about art that was created in the incarceration camps. And that was really important to me because my grandfather, I knew he was in Poston in Arizona, and I have other family members that were in Manzanar too, who were born there. And my grandfather, I only knew him when he was maybe in his 80s. He was very quiet. My mom even tells this story where one of my siblings once said about him, like, that guy never talks. It was a little true. But I found out when I got older that after we got in the internment camps and certain school curriculums realized, hey, like, this is an atrocity and we should be telling children that, he was invited to go speak to those school children, and he did that. Even though I knew him as this very quiet man, it was important for him to be sharing that story. And so that motivated me to do this research, and in doing so, I found, Jalen, if you could go to the next slide. I found this book by Delphine Hirosuna, which in an amazing coincidence that I didn't know about was actually in this room earlier today, and I've never met her, so I did not know she was here. But she signed copies of a book that she wrote in the back here. And I found her book, The Art of Gaman, which is a collection of photographs of art that people did in incarceration camps. And included in that collection were these pictures of these beautiful flower bouquets that are made of wrapping paper and wire and shells. And so the context for these is that in the other incarceration camps, aside from Tule Lake where these were made, people would grow gardens. They would grow vegetables to supplement their diet. They would grow flowers. And it's so important for people who are literally having their humanity stripped away by their governments to have a sense of beauty and normalcy in their lives, to have something to celebrate each other's achievements and life milestones, to bring to weddings, to bring to funerals. And so the people in Tule Lake, they actually couldn't grow flowers because the soil was just so infertile. It was built on top of the sandy lake bed, and they couldn't grow anything. So instead, they made these flowers, and I feel like that is such a powerful visual symbol of resilience of the Japanese American community. So that is just what I wanted to bring into it, basically. And it's what I created this comic about that I'm going to share with you guys. So it's very short. Okay, so. Darling, I wonder what will one day be your favorite flower. No one had flowers to bring to the weddings of Tule Lake and Topaz. Blooming in the closet is a fragile piece of survival, made of painted shells and wrapping paper. Darling, when you are born, someone will bring your mother real flowers. Soft petals and cellulose strand to gather sunlight. Prom corsages, funeral promises, no watchtower or infertile lakebed soil, keeping me from beauty. So I just wanted to share that because I think it's a reminder that our community, even in inhospitable situations, always survived and thrived. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Greer. Folks, let's give one more round of applause for all of our speakers and storytellers and folks tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. We didn't get a lot of love letters to Japantown over our love letter station, but we got 3 of them. I'll read them here, and this one's very nice. I'll keep them anonymous. Don't worry. We died. It's dead. Okay. We'll do this theater style. Nope. As a Chinese American in her 20s who frequently hangs out with her Asian friends in Japantown, I want to show my appreciation for Japantown for providing a safe environment that is rich in history. I love this community. That was beautiful. Thank you. Yes. This one says, thank you for being a supportive, loving Nikkei village for our children all to grow up in. Thank you very much. And this last one I think is for Susie. It just says, I hope this event continues in the future. Yeah. What do you guys think, yeah? All right. Well, that's our show. We're gonna close this out. So why don't we bring Susie back up to give us some closing remarks. Susie?
Today was such, like, it filled my heart, truly filled my heart, bringing different generations together, storytelling, looking to the future by looking to the past. The young folks, they're so inspirational in terms of, like, the reason for KOHO really has been to give a place, a home, a purpose, a gathering space, like just something for these folks to come back to. And that's what KOHO is about, drawing those folks, that understanding of who we are as cultural identity, sorry, I'm emotional, exploring cultural identity. Many of us are, mixed race by 3rd or 4th generation, and when we started KOHO, we heard from the younger folks, like, well, where do we belong here in Japantown? And we have over 20 nonprofit organizations doing amazing work, run by elders that have been in this community forever. And it's very difficult running a nonprofit organization to sometimes give a welcoming, nest or a foothold for the younger folks. And I just saw that as a really great opportunity to look at our future, look at our next generation of stakeholders, and then to hear from you guys who live through redevelopment. It just gives us such a real life perspective of what happened here. Instead of textbooks, instead of hearing it from videos, to have you speak today meant so much to me and probably many people in this room. So thank you. So as KOHO grows, I'm hoping to hire my first staff member next week, but as we grow, we want to do a lot more events like this. We're in our 3rd year of Bon Pop. Bon Pop is our Bon Odori. If you guys don't know about it, we used to have it in the Peace Plaza. Obviously, we cannot have it there for the next 2 years. But Golden Gate Parks is actually sponsoring us this year. And so we're going to have it at the Celebration Garden, August 31st. QR code here and on the posters. More information on KOHOSF.org. So come out. It is these kinds of experiences where we open the door to whoever that just wants to explore our Japanese culture, but in a way that is authentic to us, both honoring the past, but also rediscovering and exploring what it means today. So we do yukata remix contests where you can kind of, hike up your yukata and wear cowboy boots like I did last year. But, really just reclaiming tradition, reclaiming heritage, and really together we can kind of work through what that means for us today. Honestly, not this last census, but the census before shared that we were 1% Japanese in San Francisco, and we're only 5% landowners in our own cultural district. So how does that hit you? So we need to bring back folks. We need to share our stories. We need to be prepared and rally if we need to fight the city if anything should happen again. And the only way we're going to do that is educate our young people about what happened and then give them a nurturing, safe, and welcoming place for them to land and have these conversations. And that's what KOHO is about. So I thank each of you for being here. Join our mailing list, Instagram, Facebook, and in a year and a half, when the time comes, if you guys can help me rally to save this place for KOHO, we will be developing a capital campaign to buy it.
All right.
Yeah. So more on that. That's the Parks Commission just granted us a $100,000 grant over 2 years to look into that research and develop and hire a consultant. And we're already talking to people to kind of figure out how to, as a nonprofit, reclaim our land. So look for that soon. I wish you all an incredible night. Thank you again. We'll do this again. Thank you, Jaden, for putting this together. Jaden just graduated from college. She came from LA, not knowing many folks, and me and Ryan and Katie kind of pointed her in the right direction, and she nailed it. So she's off back down to LA today. Today's her last day, but give her some love. And Jaden, you were a big part of our stepping stone to making KOHO, just keep going in this direction. So, thank you everyone. Have a good night. Sorry, one more announcement. So, NJAHS across the street, they are doing an incredible workshop here in KOHO on September 7th. Here in September 7th, but their big Obon is also happening
It's the next day.
The next day. So more about them and NJAHS at their table there, but they have this incredible exhibit over there on American Obon and what Obon means. So definitely visit them and visit them at the table.
And any of the speakers who are still here, can I invite you up to the front? So we're going to take a photo. So Judy, come on up. Francis, come on up. Sarah Greer, Lauren. Scott as well. Scott Oshiro, come on up. Joyce, is Joyce still here? Joyce, okay. Francis, come on up. Let's take a photo. Francis and Scott, can you call Francis and Scott to the stage? Lauren to the stage. Come on up.
that's a great question. Are you going to take a photo?
Take a photo first.
Take one on my cell phone. Yeah. Oh, wait, okay. Yeah.
Here first. 1, 2, and then we practice.
One more here. Okay.
Okay, this one for this camera. 1, 2, 3. One more.
Can you do it vertical?
Vertical.
Like no.
Right. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Go for it. He's going to do it.
More stuff.
No, I'm doing it.
Thank you for your piece. That was lovely. My name is Ravi. My office is on Fillmore between Post and Sun. So, yeah. And it's one of those Victorians that apparently used to be on Buchanan, and they moved it over to.
Became Marcus.
Oh, yeah. It's one a couple of doors down.
Nailed it down. But you could just see these houses. It's real. March's house just really fun. You don't realize how traumatic it Yeah, it was kind of hard.
KOHO was just lending up the space. Yeah, it's here. Playing that role, right?
Well, I actually wrote a book, an essay that appeared in one of Shizuo Siegel's books. Yeah, so about Japantown, my connection with Japantown back in kind of the golden age of from the 2000s, early 2000s, the heyday of Asian American activities. I think it's coming back in these spaces.
I'm planning on doing a sort of retrospective when the scene really started happening and when young people started replaying.
They're from Jim.
Yeah, and these guys are all in their 60s. You know, a 50-year-old rapper, right? That should be really interesting. But I think that's how they feel like, oh, you have this. You can't be that long.
To have that memory, that long.
And now I miss it even after speaking about it. Well, I lost my dad in Cali. So I'm so sorry. I'm so chicken. You're working now. Anyways, thank you so much for your kind words.
Let me, I'll send you my contact. If you have your email address, I'll send you my info. Yeah, what's your email address?
Judy.Hamaguchi, HAMAGUCHI @gmail.com.
Are you familiar?
And what kind of an office you in?
Psychiatrist.
Oh,
Yeah.
more of those.
Yep. All right, great. Send it to you.
I have my summer intern who's actually studying. Yeah, she's at USC.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the thing that she's looking at.
Well, I'm just putting on. Do you know Leon's son?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so his print of Benkyoto. I just bought that. I'm getting it framed for my office. So, yeah.
It's incredible. I think that, we should have taken more photographs.
Yeah.
And we didn't even think about it. Actually documented how these blocks
Good to meet you, Judy. Wait, can you hear you? Yeah, graduate.
I'm probably back in LA. Oh no! You're right here. Oh yeah. When I went to my friends from my grandmother, their friends from town, and then we and I met my best. She's like perfect. Okay, yeah. Okay. So if I was going to know that, I'll ask him other things. No, I guess not. It's so small. I know it's like Billy. I just want to go. Oh my god, so you figured that out. I mean, your friend says it's so ugly. Yeah, that's true. It's different. Not yeah, okay. So, I guess I'm not doing this is my other side. Oh no, you never saw you that experience the other day. I can say hi, some of my things.
I wanted to be a Skype. Okay, thank you again.
There's the thing about the drop, there's like a 12 degrees. Well, thanks, Susie. What? It was great, but also it follows characters as they try and go deeper. So that, that's fantastic. Hats off to you.
Where you started, where you're just going out. Also, connection. I learned, I don't know, basically it was I learned from the veterans. Started this when I was yeah, it's still around, like I volunteered there in school. I didn't learn until like the time of the class that he just didn't tell me. And I was like, my fashion show, like no one knew. Just like my grandma was just like quietly like kind of plugging along, like what they were like community center. Yeah. What? But yeah, the whole class there. But then like yeah, the whole like
That other music.
Yeah, we're driving up into the outside today. Oh no. Yeah.
Great time. Thanks again.
Yeah, we're certainly discovering